Thanks, everyone, and good to see you all here today. So look, I'm going to, first of all, let's get the slides ready. Just settle myself in. Okay, cool. So I'm going to tell you about our Flex platform today, Flex for Librarians, we call it. And it's a cloud-based platform that we brought to market some 3 or 4 years ago to help customers in the tertiary education space, private colleges, vocational training, to help them use content under the statutory education license. So I'll just give you a bit of an explanation of where we got to and how we got to it, and then I'll show you how the product works as well. And before we go further, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we stand on today, the Wurundjeri people, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and also particularly for Copyright Agency. We recognise the ownership, responsibility, and copyright control by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples are paramount to the ongoing teaching and learning about their cultural heritage. Okay, so look, just first of all, who we are, Copyright Agency. We're a collecting society, and it's a not-for-profit organisation that is members-owned, and the members are broadly publishers, authors, and other creators of contents that I'm going to refer to as text and image, so some of my colleagues refer to as 2D content. It's the written word and visual, non-moving work. So it's books, journals, visual art, newspapers, poems, you name it. Sort of a major part of what we do is we do a few things, but it's about providing blanket licenses that they let organisations make copies of works, of copyright material. So share those copies with a specific audience, and that's all done without having to go and seek the individual publisher or author's permission to use that work. So it's a blanket license, and we offer that for a license fee. Okay. So our purpose, it's to support the creation of Australian content and making it easy for users to access copyright materials under fair terms. And just to, I suppose, put a bit of colour on that, we as an organisation have been around for some nearly 40 years now. And we came into being at the advent of the photocopier, which was highly disruptive technology at the time in the 80s, early 80s, in all sorts of walks of life where material was being copied and used. And that's where we come from. But obviously today the world has moved on considerably beyond photocopiers, although they're still being used and they're part of it. And there's all sorts of digital channels now that content's distributed in new formats through. So look, just to now sort of zone in on what I'm focused on today, which is the statutory education licence. And this is a licence that we provide any educational organisation. It's set up under statute, so it's part of the Copyright Act. And we're appointed by the Attorney General to manage this particular licence. And it allows an educational organisation to make a reasonable portion or copy of any workbook, journal, whatever it is, and share it with their students. And we cover the whole remit from, basically preschool, as soon as any form of education starts, through to universities and beyond. Okay, so just I'd like to throw this one in just to sort of give examples of the kind of copying and communicating that can happen, and just throw in some more outlier type examples, as well as just scanning a copy from a textbook or a journal, physical item, and then distributing it through a learning management system with your students. It could be finding an image using Google image search and using a photo to put in a PowerPoint presentation, finding something online, an article, newspaper article, making a copy, downloading it, sharing it with students. Could be back to print, printing stuff off on the photocopier and handing it out. So different kinds of permutations with different types of text and image content and different channels to market these days. So when we got started with Flex, we were keen to find a way to help our customers use the statutory education license more, just basically find a nice, easy way for them to use and maybe take some of the hassle out of it. And we started the process by listening to voices in the primarily private higher education college sector to start with and getting their feedback. And then we took a minimum viable product that we got from a company called Cortex that had developed something similar in the UK after sort of scouring the market, and tested it in the local market with a handful of colleges, and essentially looked at how we could refine that product and enhance it to make the whole process of accessing the content that was being used quickly, seamlessly, help managing the copyright, and just to make it a more productive and improved quality process. So these were some of the, I won't read them all out, but these are some of the sort of points that we listened to originally. And it got us into sort of, we figured that we had something that was getting traction, it was getting used, and we had the right kind of solution within the organizations that we were testing with. And then we took it to market and rolled out into the private sectors of Australia only, and also that's higher ed again, and also vocational training. So what it is, so I'll just talk conceptually briefly, and then I can show you how it works. Okay. So first of all, Flex is something that we don't charge any extra for it. It's something that comes with your license. So if you've got a statutory education license, you're allowed to use it. It's a cloud-based platform, like everything is these days, and it comprises two main functions. So it's essentially an online repository, and you could see it perhaps as rather like a Dropbox account. It's a place where you can upload and store and access any materials that you're using, you've made copies of under the statutory education license, and store them and then access them by providing a link, permanent link later. And on the way up, the content is meta-tagged nicely with bibliographic data that we get from WorldCat OCLC. And you can allocate it to the units of study which you can set up within the platform. It's sort of, I call it a universal cloud library in the sense that it's crowdsourced. So we're sort of building up a repository of copyright materials in Flex. And if organisation A, College A, has uploaded, let's say, a scan of a chapter of a book that you at College C, an unrelated college, want to use, then you can find that work there and you can use that scan if you wish to. So the idea is it's sort of a productivity thing. So we want to cumulatively build an online repository and resource there. And the other thing that we do is offer publisher materials as well. So we went out pretty early on to our publishers, who of course are our members, mostly in the educational publishing sector, and asked for their permission to be able to take the publisher quality PDF files, make them available for use on Flex, so that we could serve extracts of the works or articles from journals, again under the statutory license. And we've been building up collections slowly and steadily, and essentially we sort of zoned in on content that will be used in the kind of colleges that we're in at the moment. So that's the content side. Sorry, one other thing as well, because it's a British product, we also have a direct link to the British Library as well. So if you're looking for something and you can't find it, you can order a scan on demand from their scanning operation in the north of England, which is, I don't know if any of you have ever visited, but it's a sort of industrial level scanning centre where basically there's a copy of everything that the British Library holds, and there's robots and automated processes and this sort of thing whizzing around reading barcodes. So we can produce a PDF copy and through that process as well. And that's a service that you have to pay for. So there's a fee and a copyright fee for that. Not obligatory though. The other point about Flex as well is that it's we've got a copyright compliance workflow layer as well. So it's essentially it's a workflow tool that helps you manage copyright compliance. So it's one central place. If you're using Flex, you can see what content's being used across all the various courses, the units of study, and it's a fairly simple counting mechanism. All we're doing is counting how many pages of work or how many articles from a journal edition are being used within a particular unit with a particular cohort of students. And it'll wave a little flag and it'll tell you if you know how far you've gone with it. Won't stop you from doing anything. You're the sort of trusted administrative user of the product. It's designed primarily for librarians, or we also have some academics use it and learning and teaching coordinators and so forth. But it's not for the students. It's for the professional, administrators of the product. So we have that, and I'll show it in a second. And then there's also there's another layer which is new for some of our colleges where we can run a report that's dumped into a spreadsheet for use, and you can look at it's very granular. It'll take every particular extract, copy, or work that you've used, and it will look at the just how many times it's been visited. I'll give you details about the particular unit of study, students on it, the number of them, and this sort of thing. So we found that some of the colleges we've dealt with it's a new insight for them, and they've used it to start editing some of the supplementary content that they provide under the statutory license for their students. Or alternatively, they might give their students a kick up the backside to actually engage with the content that's been provided. So it's sort of used in different ways. So all up, I mean, we're positioning it as, it's to help using the license easier, simple. It's a more productive process. We help with the compliance process that can sometimes be an ad hoc process. So it's there. It's just sort of happening in the background. It makes it easy. We're trying to improve the quality of the materials being used. That's really important for a lot of colleges that we deal with. If they can use the publisher materials, that's great. And it'll produce new insights. And often we're asked what's in it for us as well. I mean, we take I'm certainly as a product person, it's about getting things right for customers. But we're able to then look at what's being used, and then we can take the license fees that you pay us and distribute them fairly based on what content has been used as well. So that's an important feature. And it means that, we ordinarily will undertake surveys and this sort of thing to find out this kind of information. But this is a fair, accurate, less intrusive, happens in the background kind of process. Okay, so I've just realised that the timer still says 30 minutes, but anyway, I'll keep going. Maybe I should have pressed that. Okay. So this is just a list of some of the publishers who've come on board with us and support us, and it's taken us, we've been in market for about 3.5 years now, so it wasn't an easy process. Some are easier to deal with than others, but we're slowly and steadily getting our way through them. And as you can see, we've got major publishers on board at this point, those that produce the textbooks, and also we have some journals as well now. So let me show you how the product works. This is when I nod to the guys at the back. Thank you. Okay. So it's an online platform. This is the dashboard you'll be presented with as a user of Flex. We've got some. Can I get the mouse working? Yeah, great. Okay. We've just got some sort of comments and announcements that go up here, but this is the view of the administrator. And what we've tried to do is just make the whole process fairly self-directive. So 4 steps to go through in terms of sourcing, digitizing, providing content access, putting it away securely in the clouds for future use. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'll just offer you one scenario of if I've I'm in the library or whatever my role is, an academic has brought a reading extract that they want to use on their unit, and it's in a PDF format. So what I know, it depends on how much information's been brought to me by the academic, but let's assume that I know the name, and I'll, keyboard. So, I don't think I've got the keyboard. Ah, voila, thank you. Secret keyboard, excellent. Good, so where am I? Okay, I'm going to look at something. I've been brought a corporate governance document. So I can start searching for the name of the work. I can put the author in, I can put the publisher in, ISBN, this sort of thing. So let's say anyway, I'm going to look for a chapter of the book that has been brought to me, and it's Corporate Government Principles, Policies and Practices by one Ian Tricker. So I'll just bring it along here. Sorry, this is a bit of a funny angle. So there won't be too much more of this. That'll do, let's just search for that. So, okay, so this is a search of the OCLC WorldCat database. So it'll go, hopefully this is a live demonstration. Good, so far so good. It brings up a bunch of search results. Now, this isn't content that's sitting in the cloud repository. This is just a whole series of works that match the titles that we've got here of what we were looking for. So what I want to do is look for the work that I've been requested to share. If we have this sort of little star asterisk tells me that there's a book that's already sitting in the repository, I might want to use that, so it sits there. But otherwise, it's really just lists of search results. And I happen to know that the one I'm looking for is by Ian Tricker, and I think the ISBN that I had, it was the 2009 edition. It's looking good. I think it's that one. So what I'll do is select it. Right. So this is the next stage, and I've found the metadata records of the work I want to use. So we're trying to help with all the grabbing that and trying to automate the process by getting it from a trusted source. Now, there's an assumption here, and I can change this later, that I know what the page range of the extract is. So in this case, I'm told it's 25 to 49. Now, we have a little tick here, a little green tick that says this is going to be used by the statutory education license. In some instances, you might have other licenses for using works, so we don't want to get in the way of that. We're only interested in what ultimately is remunerable content. So if you're using it for some other purpose, we've got some other options there. Maybe it's Creative Commons, maybe you've already got a direct license, whatever it is. But in most instances, let's just go with me for now. We're using it under the statutory education license. And then I add it to a unit of study. And I'll just come up with, so I've got a bunch here. Made the VALA Let's Make It Happen course. And I can add if it's an academic, there's Dr. Lockman, who provided me the work. So fairly simple, we're just ticking boxes and just looking at, pre-populated units. I can also, if I want to add a new unit, I can. It's a pretty simple process. You just do it just fill out, if you've got a code or a name for it, a bit of duration, the subject, the department, that sort of thing. And then I'll go to the next page, the next step. So we've got the extract page range. Okay, so this is just repeating the data I've got and confirming it. This is what I put in down to this point here on the page. And then this is the talk, what I mentioned about the compliance workflow layer earlier. What I've got is a little sort of check thing there in the middle, usage compliance. So it's telling me that the unit hasn't used this work before, and that I'm using 25 pages, which is equivalent to 6.25%, which is less than 10%. Now, just so you know, you can keep adding more. You can add another 3% from the same work, and it'll get it to 9.25%, and it'll still give you a green tick. So you don't only have to use an extract once. And then here's the next thing, right? I want to upload a file or look to see if it's been used before. So it actually looks rather like someone's already put this one in before, but the upload process is as follows. It's just, I've got a scan, I've been provided it by the academic. I'm just going to say that it's a scan. I've got the page range. If it's OCR, it doesn't really matter too much, but let's say it is. And then I will just basically look for the file like so. And where am I? Desktop. That's me. One. And upload like that. So what I can do, I can check the document as well if I want to. Just with a preview. This is a web browser e-reader that Cortex provide us, and here's your scan copy, okay? It is, you can, maybe I can't, yeah, I can do that. You can copy the text of this one, it's an OCR one, and you can flick through it. Okay, I've got the right one, the right book. So that's all good. I'll come back here again. I did mention it before, if there's the British Library is there, you order from BL. If you want to do that, you can do that. Just click on the button. It's just another feature. So anyway, I'll select the work that I'm using. I want to use that one. And that's broadly it, actually. I then generate a link. So this is a secure permanent link. You can copy it over year on year with the units. As the units roll over within a course into 2023, it'll all move across and the link remains the same. So it also solves a problem that's it's that lack of control sometimes you get around providing content when people come and go, people leave the organization, often take their content with them. If it's in one central place, you've got a permanent link, it's not a link to something online, the link won't break. So what you can do with the link is essentially copy it, paste it into, let's presume you're using a learning management system, as most organizations do. And then I will share it within the unit of study. And I also have the options. I could send it if the educator's academic is managing that process. I can send a summary of all the biblio metadata there, and it'll go off to the academic who requested the digitization request, as it says there. Sorry. Am I? Oh. Crikey, that went quickly. Good. Thanks. That's all right. Okay, cool. I'll do, and if I click on this, let me just click on it. I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is what we provide for the private college sector. It's a copyright notice at the start, and then when I push, this is what the student sees. So the student is just an end user in this process. They get a link that they click on, and there's a web browser reader that opens up, and away they go. And they can download it, they can print it as well. I'll just quickly, come back here. I just want to show you one other one we have. So let me, this is the Discover feature, which is, going to work? Okay, good. We introduced this recently. It's just to help you navigate the content that we've got from publishers that we've put into the platform so that you can use under the license. It's all Dewey classified, Dewey Decimal classified, so you can search in the usual kind of library way. If I wanted to, I'll just show you quickly, if I want to look at a marketing book, international marketing, so to be fair, I did know this was here, but I'm running out of time, so I'm going to quickly dive in. But you can search by subject area and this sort of thing. And then it brings up results. It'll bring in stuff like the jacket metadata. It can bring up the whole work if you want it. If you want to use this one, that's the one I'm looking for. It's the Pearson one by Richard Fletcher, and I can add it to my unit and go through the process I've just shown you. So in this way, I don't need to upload PDF content. I just use what's available. I can preview the book, and that's kind of, I can flick all my way through. Actually, maybe I'll just quickly show what it's like to, let's say I'm just going to whiz through this one now. I've got 1 minute. Oh, right, okay. So let me just jump to it. Page 3, okay. I'll just see if I can. Ooh. Sorry, okay, too much pressure. Let me just bring that back again. Okay, I'll just show you what it's like if we've got that. I'll just click on that one, preview. This is, it loads the whole work anyway, and you as the administrator can then look at the book. There's a table of contents that's here, and you can click on it, you can jump around. So it just lets you see what you're using, and then you can take an extract from it and go through the same process. And that is it. The other point you can make, you can also upload, if you want to use website materials or newspaper articles, you can upload them as PDFs without an ISBN. So we take other kinds of content that would be used under the license. Thank you, Heather. Thanks.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Good to...
We do have some good questions here. So given that universities use statutory licence as a licence of last resort, does Flex check library holdings before copying and communicating, for example, subscriptions?
Well, this product is absolutely there for the statutory education licensing use. So there's an assumption that you're using it for that purpose. It's not integrated with a library management system. We've got another. We do have a product that's already, call it in beta, but we've rolled out to 5 different higher education colleges in Australia, which does integrate with the discovery layer of a library. So it brings up search results. So it's essentially it's a bit like a shopping cart. It's aimed at an academic or whoever's pulling together a list of materials, and it will look for works in the library first, see if you've got them. And if you want a digitisation request, it will connect to Flex. So that's the way we plan to manage it in the sort of next iteration. And that's developed by the same vendor called Cortex as well, who's the new textbook.
Okay, so what learning management systems does Flex integrate with?
Well, it's actually, at this stage, it's a link. So you just copy paste the link. The Flex for Educators, we're going to call it, is the product that we're beta testing at the moment will be LTI compliant, if you know that. So that means basically, if it's a learning management system, it will integrate with a learning management system. And what that product does, which is what I showed you today, but it does integrate through, if you're using Blackboard or Moodle, it opens as a sort of what's called an iframe within a window, and you can start pulling together lists of content, recommended reading, compulsory reading, this sort of stuff, that way, connecting with the library. So at the moment, it's just copy, paste, link, copy into the learning management system. Yeah.
Well, I can speak from experience that it works with Moodle, so.
Good, perfect.
Is Flex available for use by research organisations with a copyright licence, or is there an alternative for sharing documents with researchers?
That's a good question. So we designed and brought this to market for statutory education licence users. So if they don't have a statutory education licence, it's not, that's not necessarily its market. But that said, if that particular research organisation, if we're talking a pharmaceutical business, biotech, something like that, is interested in using it, then we'll happily talk with them. And they need to have what we call a commercial licence with.
And how large is your cloud collection?
Oh, the cloud collection. We've got, in terms of the original books from publishers, it's still relatively small. It's about 2,000 books that we've got for textbooks for the sector that we're in. So mostly all business and management. We've got some health ones as well. And we just keep expanding as we need to. We've also got tens of thousands of journals as well. So it's what we can find, but anything that gets, surfaces, we'll ask publishers for it if there's a PDF available. And quite often there aren't, because people use old stuff as well. In terms of the scan copies that are there now, we're into tens of thousands now. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was all the questions.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Richard. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.